As a return trip from Port Elizabeth back to Cape Town wasn't really planned. Me and a friend discussed a few things, and he said, but why don't I go through Addo and then go via the Zuurberg pass? It is not a very well known pass, but it's quite interesting. So a little bit of research on Google and Tracks, and I accepted the challenge. The Zuurberg pass is 45 kilometers long. It starts just north of Addo, off the R342, and then join the R400 on the north of the Addo National Park. The first part of the pass serves the vineyards and orchards until it eventually gets into the mountains. Looking at the state of the road and the traffic, I realized that the hotel up the top is still quite busy. Looking out over the typical Eastern Cape savanna. Almost at the top of the first mountain ridge, I had to stop to look back and admire the fields and the country below. This is another pass where the mountain bikers enjoy the annual race. The pass actually cross over 4 mountain ridges. So it's almost like 4 little passes rolled into one bigger one. Although it's very dry, it might be seething with a green, but at least they had a few drops of rain last week. There's new buildings and a lookout just past the Zuurberg Hotel. By coincidence, the Zuurberg Hotel license was granted in 1861 and was a stopover point for the almost 120,000 coaches per year that traversed the pass during the 1870s. With the outbreak of the Anglo-Boer War in 1901, everything was stopped because the government needed all the horses, and the guests all dwindled away. During a massive fire in 2008, a lot of the area were gutted, as well as portions of the hotel, which the owners then rebuilt, but still stayed within the original design ideas. The pass was built in 1850 to connect Port Elizabeth and Somerset East. 250 convicts took 2 years to chop away on the rocks and build the retaining walls. The road is getting narrower and a bit more rough because we now pass the hotel, and this side of the road is only used by adventure travelers and the farmers. The road now gets very narrower, very rockier, and then a massive kudubu running ahead. The crest of the third ridge, road getting narrower and rougher, and still one to go. About there I saw the kudu, and then had a very interesting rocky ride up to the crest. This section I did a bit less handheld camera work because of the treacherous conditions. As can be confirmed by the handlebar grab again. The third ridge ahead was not that steep, and it was a much more farm activities. It's interesting to notice how the farms get derelict and left to decay because the vehicles are nowadays so reliable, so good that they can now travel up and down the mountain to the remote portions of the farm without any problems, whereas in the old days it was slow going, so they had to build the farmhouses everywhere. And suddenly it was just a road again, and the pass ended at Anna's villa with a museum. Unfortunately, due to time constraints, I could not stop there. And this little tar section indicated my trip over the pass is finally over.